Well, hello everybody, trying my third video blogging entry. You see the headsets on again, so I hope the voice quality is going to be better. It was an early start in the week as Oracle had their HCM Analyst Summit back on. Let me take place from always tough if you have to fly out earlier anyways, we're pretty busy. Good enough to speak to this weekend was Oracle's turn. The biggest interest or interesting thing we saw was that they showed us a new user interface after we saw a new user interface already, which was being used for performance management. And it's always good to never rest on your laurels when you start doing this. So it's definitely an improvement over before. I think it will make performance management as a process much more easier to use and much more pleasant to use, especially helping people to potentially have some fun. As I blogged, I had a Sona 6 interview, right? The performance management winner who used a lot of gamification. And now it's being part of Cornerstone. Not sure where it's actually going to figure out with them that it is, but it reminded me of that. And the same UI, we didn't see it, was also applied, it's going to be applied to benefits. Now it's going to be interesting to which other areas overall Oracle will apply that. And as we always in general say, it would be good to see what kind of roadmap they have. The other good uptake was on housekeeping. I always think it's important that vendors look at the technical depth they have. It was good to see that under the unification moniker. Let's see if I can maximize it here a little bit. Not sure what comes over on Hangout. Oracle has done significant things. It's on the Employee Master integration already back in 2013. Lots of things happening this year on the simplified UI for recruiting and learn coming out of the Taleo acquisition. And there's more work happening here. And overall, my impression is that Oracle's in the process of doing some consolidation or some rebuilding, potentially even, of the previous pieces which came with Taleo, which is a good step because you can't keep different architectures all around. Separately, we learned in the technology side that Taleo will be the first to be set on Oracle 12c, the new pluggable container database. Well, not so new, been launched 2 years ago, now available in R2, so that's interesting. And then the whole conference, we had a preview, Platform as a Service coming there, right? Interesting, second week in a row in San Francisco, second mention of Platform as a Service. Remember, we asked that Anand Bushri last week at the Workday Analyst Summit, and he said it's going to be Platform with a little p. Well, Oracle made clear it's going to be Platform, no surprise, with a big P, right? So the full Oracle platform that is available for building enterprise application by itself as a customer or as Oracle will be part in ways to allow you to customize, to extend the Oracle SaaS offerings in HCM. So going to be an exception to that. So interesting approach, interesting way of doing things. Will be interesting to see how certain things like encapsulation, not making sure that things are overridden, will all be handled. And there's significant customer traction. There's over 200 customers live on Oracle Fusion HCM, as was shared. Overall, Fusion has over 26 million contract employees. 19 million of these are out live right now, as Thomas Curran shared on a different meeting here. So interesting enough. Also, the management of Oracle HCM, Chris Leon and Gretchen Alacon shared the roadmap, and it's good they share the roadmap, the current release and plus 2 releases out, and what's still left and what they haven't spotted yet. So kudos to any vendor for doing that. They did that. So better than nothing, not as good as the complete roadmap of moving to certain things. And then was back to the usual open world. Larry opened a keynote on Sunday. He had a huge teaser for us saying that he will demonstrate on Tuesday how with 2 clicks only he will move client server or internet scale application to the cloud. So we definitely were teased by that. But the whole message around PaaS was hammered on by Larry, as you can imagine, with the usual not being shy, let's put it like this nicely, not being shy attitude of doing that. Monday, tons of meetings for me, very interesting briefings with HCM customers and technology customers. Also went to Andy Mendelson's, the father of the Oracle database, I always call them, presentation. Interesting insights on how to run both horizontal versus row stores versus column stores in memory, with nice differentiations that will comment for the week if they are so true towards the Oracle competitors in the memory on the Microsoft and the SAP. That goes. Monday, I think, yeah, it's a long time ago. We had a analyst dinner. Nicely. We also got a pre from IBM launching. I think it's a promising thing, and has high potential. You have to understand what it really does beyond potentially only just Googling that. Didn't have a chance to ask the question because I was double booked. Tuesday saw Larry's keynote, showing that in detail. Well, turned out it was more than just 2 clicks. Good enough, fair enough. Thursday was both the database summit for most of the day for me and the Fusion. Just blogged my findings on that. Let me share them with you. No, I don't want to share that. I want to share. Where did the window go? Too many windows open. Where is the browser window? Let's take this one and the browser. We can go back to my blog. Doing this live with no double faults. So here, newest one, event report, Oracle's open world vision and remaining work become clear, and both are big. So it's clear that Oracle wants to help customers overcome the different areas of computing, preserve their investment, move things now to the cloud age. 12c is nicely coming along with R2 now. Customers really trying to adopt it. Here's the in-memory breakthrough that Mendelssohn presented, both a row-based performing and columnar database which can run in memory, which nicely differentiates again, as I mentioned before. So definitely one of the stronger things. On the concern side, I jumped over one thing, the PaaS vision, of course, the platform, right? The platform is probably one of the more complete platforms overall. There's only 3-4 other vendors. I mean, Microsoft, IBM, SAP come to mind who can probably match that on breadth. All the other ones will not have all these icons on there. What are the concerns? It's engineered top down. That's how it looks a little bit to me, right? So Oracle built Fusion since 10 or so years that were SaaS applications. It's pretty hard to then innovate from the bottom up. And I mean, I asked Thomas Crane what gives him voice and so on, and he was fair enough in a joking way, saying that some of his gray hair, well, I have more than him, of course. Some of his gray hair comes from the infrastructure as a service side. Getting that right is really hard for Oracle. They say they will remain price competitive to Amazon and Google, no matter who is the cheaper one. They think they can max. And for the first time realized if Oracle, I have this in a blog post, if Oracle would only do about 20% of their customers being converted, which would be a big failure overall, I would say. I think they will shoot for significantly higher numbers here. But let's assume if they would just do that, I mean, that would give them so much load if I project what I think Amazon and or Google have, which is going to be ahead of them, right? So 20% conversion of the Oracle current install base towards the cloud, we know everything will move to the cloud, will give them the bargaining power, the scale, the negotiation power with hardware vendors, with Equinix and other data center vendors to really get good rates, and with that rates have the scale to match prices of the other guys who might not be the large guys ever. But hey, that's future. At least the potential is there, and I'm pretty sure Oracle sees that. And then this morning, back home, we had a recap together with my colleagues, Dr. Natalie, with Ray, and with Guy, our new colleague up in Boston. I played with Hangouts because I'm so experienced in my third Hangout, and my network dropped. And turns out, as a moderator, you cannot make it back into stop it, of course, but I didn't want to do that. So I give you live here what I try to do via chat from my what's changed for HCM Custom Oracle, for my takeaways there. The customer uptake is the most impressive thing for me. 200 customers now live. Mentioned the new UI. They're doing some bells and whistles things, which can be nice for existing implementations, like the work balance things around tracking variables. They added reputation. To ask Chris Leone if that's just a few bells from they're doing around unification at the core. This change past and it's an interesting time, but we have to dig. This question expands from you can move the need. This expands, which are people like globalization, digital transformation, all have to happen for your people, and HR plays a central role. What has done Oracle to invest? Well, they have a massive product development organization with over 2,000 members. I mean, this year, Workday had more employees than Oracle had people building product. So just as a data point, you can ask, why are there so many to build products? But then on the other side, it's an overall question of size to a certain point too. Oracle has done a lot on the HCM side in partner enablement. Last year, the most prominent SI was probably called Keybase. Now, when I was talking to the field, their largest partner is Deloitte, so significantly more global, moving to larger customers. What should Oracle to improve for customers on the HCM side? Well, always when you do a new UI, ideally you get it introduced consistently across all your products. If you can't do that, then at least you need to do a roadmap and try to keep certain scenarios together. What are my 5 tips for 5 HCM customers and prospects? Understand the recruiting functionality. This is good enough, right? Mark Hurd tweets about the retiring scenario in North America. So recruiting functionality has to be top notch. Taleo has certainly been that. If the way how recruiting is done in Taleo has been built as best practice for the last 10, 15, 20 years, is going to be the practice for the next 10, 15 years, that's something to be seen and will be slugged out in the marketplace. Try to keep the UIs consistent, at least for user groups. So when your vendor's changing UI, you don't want to have too many different UIs for a user. Align your rollout plans with the roadmap would be the first one. If a vendor gives you a roadmap, which is always good, don't build against that. If your roadmap is totally different as a customer, what you want to implement than what your vendor is trying to provide, then maybe they're not the right partner, right? But so align the two with each other. Compare the SIs. There's a lot of traction in the HCM Fusion space right now. Look at the different SIs who can help you. Also consider, I spoke to 2 or even 3 customers who did significant work, if not all, of implementing talent management modules by themselves internally, no longer partner or SI enabled. So evaluate it equally as strategy. And then check out auxiliary applications, right? Do all these things which I maybe not so nice, called little bells and whistles, the things around the work-life balance, gamification things, reputation product. Are they going to add value? Then by all means look at them. If not, look at the things which are really value for you. Switching my hat, which I should have here, and put on a hoodie and put on a baseball cap. I'll do that at another event next. What's happened on the technology side? Well, certainly 12c has matured. Many customers, even the ones I spoke, which came from Oracle, said, well, I never use R1, I always wait for R2. Well, R2 is there since July, so we saw a significant update. One of the big things which I was concerned last year, if you made my blog post from then, was that Oracle had this coexistent path with big data, say big data is good for this, we are good for this. Now there's a complete embrace, right? Is the new NoSQL, SQL, all kinds of databases, and Oracle will put this interesting code in place to run your SQL statement across the NoSQL big data database with local execution. So the delay performance issue should be minimal. Puts customers in happen sooner or later. This see how eager customers are going forward building the data centers, or will they use maybe being Oracle customers, some of the Oracle data centers. What has Oracle done to invest? It's a massive investment, right? I think there's way over 10,000 developers working on this, right? And my question to Thomas Kurian, how do you keep it in sync? To acknowledge the massive task. Right, like this summer. So The good news is next year at Open World, all of it will be available in product. So we should have some very cool demos of real product. Not sure how much customer adoption we can see of things which come in summer, then at the end of summer at Open World, but let's be realistic where we go there. What is important that Oracle has to improve, certainly has to clarify the TCO, right? 2 years ago, there was big expectations raised around the TCO of implementing 12c. Well, now 12c is there, customer adoption is coming with R2. We want to see the TCO. I hope what Mendelssohn shared around using 12c under Taleo should give Oracle hopefully a good enough audited to very good use case about how much Oracle was able to save of re-platforming the database or upgrading the platform on database on the Taleo product. 5 tips for value at 12c. Second, get familiar with the cloud options at Oracle. I mean, if you have Oracle products already, look at the mobile product. I saw a very good demo of an upcoming product where a business user can build a native mobile client. Cookie cutter layouts, very, very powerful in my view, if you can enable business users all the time across, no matter if it's HCM automation or if it's technology. Check out the big data strategy. I mean, being able to run the same queries in a familiar way will be very big. And as usual, check your contracts in regards of upgradability, pricing, login, and so on. Enough about Open World. Thanks for listening to my rambling here. The other major thing that happened this week, haven't got the blog post out, is TIBCO had a self-go private equity partners. Let's take a grain of salt, didn't get it here. So one of the 3 musketeers, I always call them, right? TIBCO, Software AG, and Informatica, which have a largely overlapping portfolio, are changing at least one side who's financing them. Outlook on next week, I will be at IBM's Enterprise event next week, Monday, Tuesday, Las Vegas. I will jet quickly to San Francisco, which unfortunately is not done so quickly, to talk about the future of developers at the Couchbase Connect event, and then back to Las Vegas with 48 meetings, which I scheduled myself through a scheduling tool happening in Las Vegas at HR Tech. So definitely I'm going to be a little more tired than even now after 5 days of work to HR Tech, which is always a great part to see that and see all the vendors, friends, and family there. Well, family won't be there, but you know how I mean. So thanks for that. Have a great weekend and look forward to see you at HR Tech or IBM Enterprise or Couchbase. Thanks.